Hey everyone, how you doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. We got to talk about why housing is not crashing. We're going to talk about the Fed meeting this week and what to expect. We can talk about the UPS strike that is looming, top 5 cities where inflation is still running hot, and of course, we can talk about Larry Summers being a doom porn creator, and of course, we will talk about vacant homes. So a lot of stuff going on today. Let's get into it. But first, let me remind you, if you are a student of how to get started one rental at a time, you have been given access to a free event tomorrow. Yes, 8 a.m. tomorrow. I have invited every student of how to get started one rental at a time to be a part of the Three Amigos conversation. I honestly have no idea how this will go tomorrow. It is something I look forward to extending in the future, allowing you to interact with the various millionaires that we speak to each week. So again, we're going to give this a run tomorrow with Dion and Matt. I hope to see you there. You can find an invitation in one of two places. You can go to our private Facebook group. It was posted there. Or you can go to your Teachable account, and I sent it there via email. So hope to see you there. Again, I've increased my Zoom account to 1,000 versus 100. So all of you, I'm sure, that can make it tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, we will see you there. And again, it is 100% free. Just a way of giving back to all of you. So let's talk about why housing is not crashing. I know there's lots of folks out there that would want to crash. I will admit I am one of them. I would like nothing better than my rental properties to be cheaper. It is hard to get deals done today. I want to remind you of a video series we did with Mike from Altos Research. I believe those 3 videos hold the key to why housing is not crashing. And more importantly, they are things that you could use in your buy box. And remember, we talked about 3 things with Mike in this order. We talked about price, because everybody talks about price. It is the least important, or I would argue, lagging indicator. 2, active inventory. It is interesting, but again, secondary to the last and most important point, and that is new listing data. The only way we could get to a point of having any reasonable conversation about a price crash is we have to have active inventory jump. And the only way we get there is we get waves of new listings. So again, you can go back and watch that video series with Mike from Altos Research. And also, please follow Altos Research, because they are the most up-to-date. They put out weekly information about active listings. And if you want to watch your buy box, which I hope you do as one of these on this channel, that's what I would watch. New listings, how many are coming on the market, day, week, month, however you track it. How long are they staying, i.e. active inventory, and then third, price. If you want to be elite, you need to understand it starts with new listings, then active inventory, then price. Don't get it twisted. It's not the other way around. So again, watch that. So on new listings, Logan from Housing Wire, again, a wonderful follow on Twitter, told us in the last week, new listings jumped 60, or actually new inventory, inventory jumped 6,700. This will be very interesting to watch. By comparison, last year, inventory jumped same week. So this is year-on-year numbers. Inventory jumped 24,000. So again, disappointment. We are still way down, right? That third variable, new listings, is still way down. We are building inventory. We will see days on market, but that's really interest rate. And if you know anything about, you've been here on this channel a while, you know that I believe tomorrow is one of those days that we have been talking about for months. Tomorrow's the day. Specifically, tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Pacific. We're going to know if what I've been talking about for months starts to happen. And that is, inflation will show a big tick down tomorrow. Headline inflation. Hey, Brian, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. That's very nice of you. Tomorrow's the day. Last month, just so you remember, we had 4.9 headline inflation. I believe it will be 4.3 or better. I just checked this morning, and the odds are 4.1. And just so we know, it only gets better in July. July, we roll off a base effect that's even larger. So we could be under 3.5% in about 5 weeks. Why is that important to you? Why is that important to housing? Well, A, we're going to get the pause that I told you was coming. It'll be official on Wednesday. It'll be a hawkish pause. More on that in a minute. But it'll be a pause nonetheless. And again, they'll be paused all year, even though they're going to talk nonsense and talk tough. It's not coming. Then second, you will start to see margin compression. I believe margin compression between the 30-year mortgage and the 10-year will start slowly and build as banks start to see that we are right, that the raises are done, we're at terminal, that inflation is coming down. So again, it is all coming our direction, and it starts tomorrow. What will be very interesting for me, Wednesday we get what is called the dot plot. You can think of this as a look ahead by the Federal Reserve. What do they see? These are the things that I will be looking at, probably in this order. First, what is their forecast for unemployment? There has been rumors or innuendo or all of these things saying that Jerome Powell wants to see unemployment go up. Where is up? Is it 4.5? Is it 4.8? Is it 5.2? Where is the Federal Reserve? So again, this is something that I will be looking for. Hey, Miguel, congrats on closing your deal in, it looks like Phoenix. Send me a private message and I will mail you a card once it's closed. So congratulations. So again, unemployment, the dot plot. Next, terminal rate. I've been very clear, frankly, for a year that I think we are at the terminal rate. It'll be very interesting to see what the Fed says. I think this is where we see a divergent. We will see some hawks, some doves. It is always around inflection points that we see divergence. To date, the Fed has been unanimous in decisions. It'll be very interesting to see if Wednesday is unanimous. Then I'll be looking at GDP. Again, I think GDP is an interesting one because I think the last time I looked, they were expecting the yearly GDP to be about 0.4%, where Q1 was 1 point something. So the only way to get to a 0.4 GDP for the year is to have a recession, right? Negative quarters back to back. I actually think they're going to raise their GDP estimates for the year and push out slower growth till next year. But again, I will be looking for that. And then perhaps the most important thing I will be looking for, and actually unemployment's the most, this is probably the second most, is when do they see a cut? I suspect that we will see 0 Fed presidents call for a cut this year. If there is one, it might be December. But I think the cuts will be all next year. And again, I think that will be something very interesting to watch. So big day, big week. We got Tuesday, then we got Wednesday. Lots and lots of things going on. It'll be very interesting if it's buy the rumor, sell the news. If you haven't heard that before, we have seen the stock market run up the last couple of days. I don't think that is a secret to anyone. Could this be Wall Street getting ahead of the news? Right? As we said, I think people are expecting 4.1. Maybe people are setting up for that, and then what will happen is we'll get a big blow off top in the morning, and then it will fall all day. Who knows? But again, it could be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news. Hey, I'm going to guess what that is. 7 Amley, I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. That is very, very gracious of you. It looks like it's your first super chat, so that is very awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. So again, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the stock market. I think the stock market, the smart money expects a low inflation print. So maybe they're investing ahead of the time. So it will be very interesting to look at. I read an article on CNBC talking about cities where there's high inflation. And when you really break down these cities, it feels to me being very housing related. So again, just to have them, I'll go reverse order. So lowest to highest of the top 5. Detroit, Michigan, inflation is running at 6.6%. Then we have Seattle at 6.9, Tampa at 7.7, Phoenix at 7.4. Oops, looks like I had those backwards. Sorry. So Phoenix is 3, Tampa 7.7, and then the number 1 city where inflation is running hot is Miami. Miami is running hot at 9%. So ouch. Miami. I want to call attention to Twitter, or at least my Twitter feed, one rental at a time. I put out a tweet this morning that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to acknowledge some financial mistakes that I've made on my journey to financial freedom. I think everyone sometimes tries to compare year one to someone's year 20. I hope that doesn't happen. I've been at this for a long time. But again, these are just some idiotic mistakes I've made. I think owning them is important. It shows people that everybody makes mistakes. So again, this is just a laundry list that's actually a little bit longer than Twitter, but go ahead and follow me there. I bought an expensive sport car when I only made 30 grand, right? My car was more expensive. I think it was a $40,000 or $50,000 car when I only made 30 grand. I thought I was better than Warren Buffett, right? My journey starts with $7,000. It grows to 200 grand and then collapses very quickly because I started gambling and speculating and doing all of that. That is a lesson that I bore for 12 or 15 years, never going back to the stock market. I didn't house hack when I was 20. I should have house hacked a fourplex in Santa Clara or Sunnyvale, California. My life would have been completely different and amazing. I should have house hacked at 20. I did compare myself to others. I don't know if that is something that was unique to me. I don't think so, but I often, as a 24 or 26 or 28-year-old, I compared myself to someone else. Never compare year one with year 20. Another one is I thought 401k was the only option, right? I started working, after getting my master's degree and having a 401k, and I thought that was the answer. I thought that's the only way to retire. I had no idea about real estate until I was 30. Again, these are just honest, and this is embarrassing. I had a master's degree, I had an MBA and a degree in economics, and I thought 401k is the only way to go. Shout out to all the entrepreneurs of the world. I actually got to sit down with Ryan Pineda here yesterday or the day before. Ryan Pineda is an entrepreneur through and through. It was such a fun conversation. But yeah, I was wired to be an employee. I am not an entrepreneur. So it was fun to have that conversation. And then lastly, when I did finally find real estate, I thought the answer was discipline, focus, and spreadsheets. Real estate is a people business. Now, understanding the numbers and learning a market is all important. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I think it's step one for most of us. But at some point, you got to get out from behind the computer and network. That's why one of the 7 rules of one rental at a time is networking. Get out there, meet new people, grow your network 2 people a day. So again, I just think it's important to realize that we all make mistakes. So I wanted to own some of those. So hopefully you appreciate that. Let's talk about Larry Summers being a doomer, folks. I don't know if you saw Larry Summers this morning. He was on Bloomberg. Larry Summers is a doomer. Yes, he is talking about the economy being too hot. He is talking about a soft landing being hope over experience. I again agree that a soft landing is unlikely. You've heard me call a recession, right? I own that. But it is very, very interesting that I think a soft landing odds are up, right? If you were to ask me about a soft landing 9 months ago, 6 months ago, I'd have probably said less than 5%. I think you got to give it credit. At least as we sit right now, you've got to say the odds are 15 or 20%. So they're not the base case, but they're not radically unattainable. So it's pretty interesting. And of course, Larry Summers is talking about commercial real estate in pockets of pain. Folks, I just have to remind people, a lot of people hear these experts like Larry Summers talk about commercial real estate, and they take that conversation and they equate it with the 2008 crash. Let me once again remind you that it will be nothing like that, because commercial properties have this thing called equity. What the heck does that mean? Well, one of the reasons that 2008 was so bad and why banks went bust, like Washington Mutual and IndyMac and Countrywide, is the loan structure was essentially 100%, right? There were actually loan structures that were 102, 103%. So when a deal went bad, the homeowner didn't have any skin in the game. The banks lost everything. So when a 200K loan went bad and it sold for 100K, the bank took all of that brunt. They lost 100 grand. This is important. Commercial markets don't operate that way. You have 30, 35, sometimes 40% equity. So yes, Larry Summers, it will be bad. And yes, there will be hundreds of millions and billions of dollars lost, but it won't be predominantly by banks. It will be the equity holders. Think about that. That's different. Yes, remember that 3,200 unit deal in Houston, Texas. It is a wonderful example. The equity took $100 million loss. The bank, $14 million. Think about that. Very different than 08. So again, people are hearing commercial real estate pain. They do not understand the subtleties and the differences. So again, don't let the doomers scare you. It will be bad. There will be opportunities. Think about the person who stepped into that 3,200 unit deal in Houston, Texas. They bought a building. Frankly, they bought 3,200 units for, what would that be roughly? 40% discount. There'll be amazing deals, but the banks aren't going to take these nasty hits like they did last time. Let's talk about New York City. I don't know if you saw this. I was reading an article about population movements because, again, I think that will be an impact certainly on tax base for California, New York, things of that nature. It looks like the great city of New York City lost 475,000 people since March of 2020. That equates to about 5.5%, 5.3% to be exactly. Only to be outdone by San Francisco. San Francisco lost 7.5% of the population. I actually think that is underreported. I think it is worse than that. But here's the problem with San Francisco. It is the wealth, right? So if you lost 7.5% of the population, what percent of the wealth has left San Francisco? It is pretty crazy. Hey, Ray, thank you very much for the super chat. You are very, very welcome. Yes, your wife, Melissa, was a part of that. And I don't know if you heard, but I gave you your shout out the other day in the Daily Financial News. You're going to get your card mailed to you. So pretty awesome. So yes, you and your wife, Melissa, congratulations for getting your deals, and your autograph book was mailed via UPS, I don't know, Sunday, Saturday, something like that. So again, thank you. So again, just realize what is going on. Then I want to talk about something that came across my feed that is extremely frustrating. You are hearing doomers talk about vacant homes. It appears to be their latest talk track. So I've done this much research on vacant homes because, again, I'm a data guy and I want to understand what's going on. So when you hear a doomer talk about vacant homes and say there are 14 million vacant homes in America and they don't give you any context, come on, you're smarter than that. I know you're smarter than that. If somebody was going to give me a scary housing stat that said, hey, 14 million vacant homes today, housing has to crash, this is what I would ask. 1, don't tell me a data point. Show me a trend. What do I mean by a trend? Well, how many vacant homes did we have a decade ago? How many homes did we have 5 years ago? Telling me there's 14 million homes vacant and you're supposed to, scare me like that's some wave of supply coming is moronic. So I did a little bit of research. Did you know that in 2010, 11.4% of all homes in America were vacant? The vacant home percentage as of today, this is according to the Census Bureau. Go ahead and do your own Google search. You won't hurt my feelings. We are at 9.7% of homes are vacant. So you're trying to tell me that something has changed, that we're going to have more inventory because we've gone down 2 percentage points? That just doesn't make logical sense. Also, I said, how many second homes, right? There are some very rich people who have second homes and vacation homes. Do you think they are suddenly going to throw up their vacation homes that they've had for years? Roughly speaking, there are 3 million homes identified as second homes, vacation homes, seasonal homes. So again, saying there's 14 million homes, which is down significantly from years ago, and then not backing out the 3 million homes is just intellectually dishonest. Folks, the housing crash, the doomers, all of those folks are grasping at straws because they have been remarkably wrong, because they refused to do the work. They have hurt people for years, and their only answer is to delete videos. It is tough out there. Affordability sucks. No question about it. We have no inventory. But if you do the work, you understand that maybe you have to, if you're an owner occupant, maybe a 203K loan like Meet Kevin did back in the beginning, house hack like Dion, or I'm going to meet with Spencer Cornelia here later this evening to see what he's all about. He house hacks like Todd Baldwin. There are options. There are ways to get creative. It does take work. It is possible. I want to go back to Dion. Dion has been looking in his backyard for a couple of years now. He simply increased his radius of search by 30 minutes. He found like 5 or 6 deals instantly. And now he's in escrow, and I think he might be on the cusp of closing on a deal. Folks, you can believe what you want. I am here at One Rental at a Time as proof and evidence that doing the work matters. We send out cards almost every day to people that are doing the work. I'm not saying the work is easy. I'm saying the work is required. Again, the other thing I will say is I've been doing this for 23 years. We have cycles. Today is hard. I'm not here to say it's not hard. But if you want to be around a group of amazing individuals, you want to be part of my free sessions going forward, right? The first one tomorrow, you have to buy my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. I think I will extend this offer for this week also. If you buy the course today, I will give you 2 free courses, 2 of my $50 courses. I've had people ask me, what would I buy? Because I have many, many options. The first thing I would buy if I bought the course and I wanted a free one is the buy box. The 2-hour deep dive on buy box would be the first thing I would watch. It is not only my example, but also 5 student examples, and we go through all kinds of questions. And then the second one I would get is probably the mastermind, right? The mastermind is 6 hours of content, completely Q&A, right? So those are amazing things. But, again, the ladies of real estate is amazing. How to use your stuck equity. There's so many options, but if you ask me, and many have, that's what I would do. So again, buy the course, get the 2 free options. I will send you the invite for tomorrow's 3 Amigos session. We will do others. Who doesn't want to get on a session with Anna Kelly or Brian Adamson or Dan Bird or whoever it is? I'm going to hopefully do one of these a week for free, just for the students. Again, I will send them on Teachable and put them in the Facebook group. So check those things going forward. Let me see. Anything else going on my notes? Oh, I think that's good for today. Again, the last thing I want to talk about is Dan Bird put out a video yesterday. It posted at 7:00 about how he finds stocks to buy. This is a process he goes through in about 20 minutes. It is fun to watch him do it. Definitely more advanced than I could do. But if you want to see the filter that he does weekly to find great deals, you can go there. And Bitcoin Man, yeah, I expect Reventure and all of the other crash bros and idiots on YouTube to talk about foreclosures rising. They have gone up to 40,000 folks. That's up 60%, folks. Housing foreclosures are up 60%. 40,000. It might be 60. It's 40,000, right? Up 60%. Just so you know, we did 6 million. 6 million. So if you do the math on 40,000, it is less than 1%. It is, in fact, 0.66%. So if you think 0.66% is like 2008, you're a doomer. You're also not very smart, but I will leave that. Again, I think Reventure Consulting is a genius. He has tapped into a way to make a lot of money. Based on vidIQ, which is some software that I have, Reventure Consulting makes 80 grand a month. He makes 80 grand a month with pretty charts and bad information. He is hurting people every month. I am not telling you to buy. I'm telling you to do the work. We have evidence that doing the work matters. I don't know. But again, if you like that stuff, you want to watch it, by all means, not my cup of tea. If you're going to sit in the parking lot and get drunk and listen to this nonsense, by all means, I'm going to be in the I'm going to be in the park. I'm going to be partying with people that are doing the work. We're going to make things happen. If you want to be drunk in the parking lot with your buddies, go watch Reventure. Not my cup of tea. I blocked that nonsense years ago. Take care, everyone. Have fun. Bye.